babashuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Peace be upon you, huh? Yeah, thank you very much. Bandland, thank you. Yeah, peace be to you all. Thank you for coming. This is babashuaib, the correctional officer. You're welcome to today's session. Let me give some shout outs before I start. We have the Abdullah Abbas, we have Versatile, says they are going to sleep. Okay, later then. John M. Any Mushriks in the house? Yeah, they will be in the house. Tariq Ayub, Rashid Sobrete, Musa Arabogo, we have Musa Khan, Gadril, we have Abu Bakr, Mohammed, Abu Sise, Zainab, Sister Zainab, I see you, Nara Pawa, Naz, Sister Naz Khan, Don Nuru, Tuj is the realist, I see you, Salam, Naganka. On Quran, Una, Ummah, Salam. John M, you can write down your question. You can share your question. I'll save it. If I have time, I'll answer. LV Gongoli, I see you. Salam to you. Alex Jan, Masiu Muslim, I see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And very soon I'll be streaming live also via Instagram. Simultaneously, I'll be doing four streams. All right. But for now, I'm streaming live Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So let me give some shout outs on TikTok as well. To all those who are here, kindly share so other people can join. I see you, Reflecting Real Islamic. Yeah, I see you, Chris. I see Bandland. Yeah, I see you, brother Zaid. I see you. Thank you for coming. Kindly share so other people can join. I see Abdullah Abu Bakr. Thank you for coming. For those on TikTok as well. Lately, I don't usually give any notice on TikTok, right? I just come because I know people will just hop on when I'm online. So usually I put the notification on Facebook and YouTube that I'll be coming online. Usually that's what I do. But on TikTok, the reason why I don't give any notice because I know whenever I'm online, most of the people who are aware of my days, that is Wednesdays, they will just hop on and join me live. And usually on TikTok, I stay longer, right? Many a times I stay longer on TikTok because after I finish my 2 hours lectures on Facebook, YouTube, usually I jump onto TikTok for a bit before I go to sleep. So thank you all for your presence. Thank you for coming. I see you, Wissam Mohammed. Salam to you. If anybody has a question, you can write it down. When I see it, I'll save it. But for those on TikTok, sometimes I'll miss the questions. I don't remember. Yeah, and so this is why I'm building the membership on TikTok and Facebook, on YouTube, so that with the membership, when people send me the questions, I can go back to it. And also, without the membership, for people who have my phone number, the correctional officer's number, if you send me a message on there, when I have time, I do answer, right? So if you have my number, you can reach out to me. When I have time, I'll answer you. Thank you for the gift. Rachel Green, thank you. Peace be upon you all. Abu Thomas, thank you. Salam to you, right? Salman Wahid says, have you ever some guarantees? Yes, I have heard of some guarantees. Yes, I do. Yeah. Concerning what Usman collected, is they are just based on stories by people, but that is not even the narrative. There are a lot of holes in the narrative saying that Usman had passed down the Quran. If you check the consistency of the Hadith, it's inconsistent. There's something wrong. It's a question mark. They are only attributing it to Usman, but it's not even true. I have a video I made concerning that, how the Quran came about. According to the story they are given, no, that's not correct. Right? That's not correct. They only gave it the name Usmani version. Right? So that story doesn't add up. Anyways, the reason why I chose this topic, cleaning up the mess of the Mushriks on TikTok, because usually I have people who send me videos from TikTok, right? Concerning other people, other scholars, other people belonging to the other denominations. So then most of the time people want me to speak on that, right? However, I do have a lot of schedules are ahead of me, so I find it hard sometimes to fit it in. So when I find the best time possible, I try to put it in between to take it off my way so that I can deal with the topic at hand and then move on, right? Yeah, thank you very much for those sending me the the compliments concerning my outfit. God bless you. Thank you. You can see this is my logo on it, babashuaib, correctional officer. You can find it on my mesh page. That is the correctional officer .spreadshop.net. You go there, you can find it there. But for now, it's only ships to Europe, right? For now, for people who want to get a mesh, there's t-shirts, there's there's a pillow, there's a magnet, anything you want concerning. There's even a handbag for it, right? So it's a nice outfit. You'll love it, affordable. So for those based in Europe, for now, right? So maybe in the near future, yeah, we can advance to another level. So thank you all for coming. And as usual, for today, I'll be playing some videos of people from TikTok, right? So we will get to hear some of the things they say, which is usually the mainstream, right? That's usually the mainstream. So when it comes to the mainstream, and I need to respond so people will get to know what is going on. For those on TikTok, I'm not yet picking up the guests yet. It is only when I'm done on Facebook, YouTube, I'll be picking up guests on TikTok. So stay tuned if you're here, right? So thank you all for coming. Let's move on to the topic, right? So let me see. I'll be playing videos along the way so that we get to see some of the mishaps and some of the interpolations people are doing. Or creating in Islam, right? Now, many a times when you mention the word religion, some people will tell you, okay, I don't believe in religion, or some people will say there's no such thing like religion. This is what many of times you hear people saying. Yeah, all stars, no problem. Thank God you are here now. You can enjoy the show. I don't know if it's very early there, but you can enjoy the show now. Yeah, thank you, Sister Diana Nebruna. Salam to you. You're welcome. Right? Thank you all. I appreciate the support. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I'll be playing some videos from people from TikTok. Some of them mainstream, who say mainstream scholars, some of them who are not scholars. But then you get to know what they have to say concerning their issues. So first of all, let me see if I can play this guy's video, right? Then we move on. There's one guy. I came a chance on this video when somebody sent it to me, so I decided to listen to the video, and it seems to, like, this is what I heard the person saying. Like, sometimes I find it like a comedy. Salam evolution. I find it like a comedy. It's like as if they are joking, or like you're playing with people's conscience. Kwame also. Yeah, hello. So let's get to see some of the confusions in the mainstream Islam, right? So listen.
Problem in dyeing your hair. The Prophet ﷺ only prohibited us from using black. So if you dye your hair blonde, if you dye your hair brown, if you dye your hair red, when you're using henna or orange, totally permissible. Okay?
So if you heard clearly what this guy is called Asim Al-Hakim. If you heard clearly what he said, somebody sent this to me via TikTok. So I decided, okay, I'll speak about these issues trending on TikTok, right? Let's listen to the video again.
There is no problem in dyeing your hair. The Prophet ﷺ only prohibited us from using black. So if you dye your hair blonde, if you dye your hair brown, if you dye your hair red, when you're using henna or orange, totally permissible. Okay?
So I think somebody was somebody said this guy is supporting Somalians. Yeah, I think Asim Al-Hakim, it's just pure comedy, somebody made, I think based on the program he's doing, somebody asked him a question concerning dyeing the hair. So dyeing the hair or the beard, and then he said, there is no problem if you dye the beard or the hair, if you dye blonde, yellow, ginger, anything, any color except black. According to him, he says the Prophet prohibited black. The Prophet prohibited to dye black. This is what the Prophet prohibited. So let's examine this. Let me quote some verses. Let's examine how these people lie against the Prophet, right? First of all, Quran chapter 16, verse 116. And let me put it on the screen, right? I'll put it on the screen so that we examine some of the issues concerning these sectarians, right? Now, before I move on, unfortunately for those on TikTok, you cannot see what I'm going to show, but I'll be reading the verses and you get to follow up if you have the Quran also with you, so you can check. I'm going to read chapter 16, verse 116. But for those watching from Facebook, YouTube, you can see the screen. You can only see black text. You can see the Arabic text in black and then the English text in black as well, right? So you'll be wondering, where are the transliteration? Like, where's the transliteration? Right? When you check, if you are using from your phone or you're using from your desktop, right? You go to the settings column. You can choose the options. So for instance, I'm going to put the option to show the transliteration. So you can see now, when you check the screen, you can see the transliteration, right? Earlier on, I took it off. So I can take, there's an option where you can take it off and it can show only the English text, and you can also take it and it will come. And also, if you need the footnote, you can see the footnote here. If I want to take the footnote off, I can do in a similar fashion. I can do the same thing by taking the footnote out. So let's go. Footnote, I take it out. So you see down below the page here, there's no footnote. Usually the footnote is blue in color, and there's no footnote anymore, right? So thanks to brother Mohammed for this options. Appreciate that enough. So you can see. So I can put back the footnotes and then I put it, then it comes back. So I go to chapter 16, verse 116, and then you see the footnote down there, right, on the page. So this is how the page works, right, for now. So I'm reading this verse, Quran chapter 16, verse 116. It says, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَا تَصِفُوا أَلْسِنَتُكُمُ الْكَذِبَ هَذَا حَلَالٌ وَهَذَا حَرَامٌ لِتَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ. Then he says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَفْتَرُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ لَا يَفْلِحُونَ. And do not say a lie by what your tongues describe. This is lawful and this is unlawful, meaning this is halal and this is haram. God is warning people, do not do that, right? This is lawful and this is unlawful. To fabricate a lie about God or against God, indeed, those who fabricate falsehood, that is a lie about God or against God, will not succeed, because the evidence is there. We can see it, right? We can see the evidence from the book of God, because the religion, the faith belongs to God, right? The religion, when I say religion, is believing in a supernatural being who controls your destiny. I don't care if you say you don't believe in religion, but at the end of the day, you believe in a supernatural being who controls your destiny. That is called religion as well, right? And do not say a lie by what your tongues describe. This is lawful and this is unlawful. Now we can find this command from the book God gave the Prophet Muhammad. Salam Umzi. Prophet Muhammad was given the book called Quran. So inside the Quran, we can see this command. God is instructing. And do not say a lie by what your tongue described. This is lawful and this is unlawful. To fabricate a lie about God, indeed, those who fabricate falsehood about God will not succeed. So one of the lies is when people are asked whether certain things are haram or halal, how they try to interpolate their own understandings towards the words of God, right? And then they will lie. For instance, Asim al-Hakim was asked a question, a simple question: can I dye the beard or dye my hair? Can I dye it? Right? Nowhere in the Quran does it say it's haram. Look, nowhere does it say it's haram. So in this turn, when you try to fabricate lies to say this is halal and this is haram, you are a liar. You will not succeed, because if we ask you how to bur'anakum, bring your proof, let's check. You cannot bring it from the book of God, right? Now, the second evidence I'm showing is when you go to Quran chapter 7, verse 32. This is what God says concerning what he has given us. Qul man harrama zinatallahi allati akhraja liibadi wattayyibati min ar-rizq. Then he says, Qul hiya lillazina amanu fi hayati dunya khalisatan. That is khalisatan. Then he says, yawm al-qiyamah. Right? Then he says, kazalika nufassilu al-ayati liqawmi ya'lamun. So God is telling the messenger to say, who has forbidden the adornment? And when we say adornment, all these things you find, like the henna, the things you use, these things from the natural things God has given for adornment, for decoration, that God has given us. Those things, who has forbidden the adornment of God, which he has produced for his servant, as well as the good things of sustenance. So whether it's for sustenance or for adornment, who is the one forbidding this? You will hear many a times the Mushriks will tell you necklace is haram. I'm serious. They will tell you necklace is haram. And yet when you ask them, prove to me one single verse from the book of God where it says necklace is haram, it's a problem. They will tell you wearing gold is haram. Wearing silver is haram. Wearing bracelet, wearing a ring is haram. They will tell you all this. Kindly ask them for proof. Tell them to show you from the book of God where God says wearing gold is haram, or silver is haram, or necklace or jewelry. As a matter of fact, if you want to know wherein jewelry is allowed by God, go to Quran chapter 35, verse 12. I'll be showing you the verse on the screen, right? So these people will tell you that dyeing your beard, they said you can dye it blonde and other things. This is how they play with your conscience, right? As a matter of fact, God never mentioned anything concerning that, right? Dyeing, because it's not like you're permanently changing the color. When you dye it, it could fade away, and then you can choose the color you want. So it's just hair dye. There is nothing haram about it. However, these people are saying you can do other colors, but then using black color is haram. So for all those people who are having the gray beard and gray hair, listen to your scholars. They are saying the prophets say it's haram. Yet we ask them for proof in the book of God. It doesn't exist. Right? So that's the problem. So who has forbidden the adornment of God, which he has produced for his servant, as well as the good things of sustenance? Say, they, the adornments, are exclusively for those who believe during the worldly life to the day until the day of the resurrection. Thus have we explained the verses for people who know. So if you know this, then you should understand when these scholars are telling you this is haram, this is halal, ask them for proof. Hatu bur'anakum, or hati bur'anaka. Bring your proof. Let's check. Yeah. Let's move on. So these are some of the issues, the problems based on the lies they tell people, and then they confuse you. Right? So the next verse I'm going to show is in Quran chapter 35, verse 12. In Quran chapter 35, verse 12, this is what God says. And the two seas are not alike. We have the salty water and then we have the sweet water. There is sweet water which is palatable to drink, and there is salty water, that is milhun, and bitter. Some sea water you cannot drink. They are salty, right? Then we have a sea water where you can drink. It's not salty. So there are two types, right? Then God says, and from each sea, you eat tender meat, because we get meat from the sea. We have fish, we have seafood, you have a lot of meat you can eat from the sea, right? Both sea, the salty ones and the normal sea, right? And you extract trinkets, right? Trinkets. You extract trinket, hilieton, which is jewelry. You extract it from like we have gems, we have pearl, we have corals, we have a lot of gemstones and so on from the sea that we use, right? So you extract trinkets which you wear, you people, you wear. And then God says that, and you see the ships plowing through them, through the sea, right? That you may seek from his what? From his favor, perhaps you will be thankful. So all these things, God made it for us so that we can be thankful to him for giving us all these provisions. Yeah, Salam, King of Truth. But then you see these mushriks of scholars telling you these things are haram. They say don't wear necklace as haram. Don't use the ring. But your scholars are using rings and so on. I'm serious. You pay attention to a lot of your scholars. You see them wearing jewelries. They wear ring and so on. They will tell you it's haram. Like, what is this? The deen of God, you are the ones passing on legislation now. Seriously? Yeah. Adrian Munir. He says, no, Baba, you missed it. The trinkets are not for you. I know. The Mushrik will say, no, it's not for you. It's for the women. They are the ones who will decide. They will say, it's not for you. It's for the women. Leave it for them. Oh, my God. Yeah, they put the authority on the sheikh. Exactly. So that is why they have the imams. They have Imam Maliki, Shafi'i, Hanbali, Hanafi. They make decisions for them. So the school of thought, some people say Maliki says this is haram. In the school of Maliki, they will say this is haram. In the school of Shafi'i, this is halal. This is how they distinguish for themselves. They are scholars deciding what is haram and what is halal. You go and meet God. You see how you beat your dead ass. Seriously. So I'm going to play the next video. Let's check this kind of confusions these people are creating on platforms, especially such as TikTok, because with TikTok, and this is why babashuaib, I like to call for challenge out there, because look, the truth doesn't mind being questioned, right? But falsehood always have issues when they are questioned, and that is why I bring myself available. Then if you think I'm lying, just call. I'll give the chance you call me. I'll give the chance you hop on. You face me and prove me wrong that if I'm lying, because I'm only telling you what God says. Quran chapter 10 verse 82, and God will enforce the truth with his words, even if the criminals dislike it. So all what I'm doing is to passing on the truth God spoke in his book. But the foolish mushriks hate this. They prefer you use the garbage books their scholars have given them to actually preach Islam. That is not Islam. That is a fake Islam. The real Islam is found in the book of God, because Islam belongs to God. It doesn't belong to your father, nor to your scholar. Then we go on the next one. So the next one is let's see here. I played a nice video, which is now listen to the next video.
Prophet ﷺ sit, specifically, how would he sit? I'm going to try and demonstrate for you. Anybody can show me, how did the Prophet sit? Yes, show me. Just like this? You're close. Actually, brother, you are the closest. Before, what you were doing before was the closest. The Prophet ﷺ, let me move this table forward. MashaAllah, you can see my balancing skills. As the hadith mentions, the Prophet ﷺ used to sit habwan, or al-ihtiba. Al-ihtiba in Arabic is when someone pulls their knees to their chest and puts their arms around their knees, just like this brother is doing here, puts their arms around their knees, sitting very casually. So I'm going to try and demonstrate for all of you. You know, like this. This is al-ihtiba, to sit habwan. Now, when do people sit like this, brother? This young man there sitting like this. Yeah, you sit like this when you're relaxed. You don't have any particular reason to. There's no formality. Yeah, this is how the Prophet.
Seriously, is it something you are supposed to teach people? I'm serious. This, like, how does sitting like this? You said this is how the Prophet sits down. This. Serious, ladies and gentlemen, why are people so foolish and dumb in religion like that? Why? Hey, Mushriks. Oh, Mushriks, no. I don't understand these Mushriks. Is it something you are supposed to teach people? How the Prophet sit? So you'll be sitting like that, and then the angel will say, oh, mashallah, look, babashuaib is sitting like the Prophet. Let's give him blessing. Like 10, he's sitting 2 minutes, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Yeah, he's going 1 hour. Let's go. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Why? Why? Seriously, why? Hey, I can't think far. Wallahi, I can't think far.
They think they are sensible and they keep on making mistakes.
Why teaching people this kind of things? See, I saw this video on TikTok. Somebody shared it to me. I'm like, what? So this is part of Islam? This? These same people are the ones who said the Prophet was wearing a short trousers. Thank you very much, brother, for the gift. I appreciate that. They will say he's wearing a short trousers, and then they will say he has a long beard. So they will try to have the same type of beard. They say sunnah. Hey, this mushriks, eh? Oh, seriously. Why is this kind of teaching part of Islam? This is not Islam. I'm serious. Sitting like that, how does he help you? How? Like how? I don't understand how. Well, these are some of the feed. When you go to TikTok, you chance up on all this kind of comedy. Is there? The next video, let me see. This is just pure rubbish. Let's go to the next video. The next video, we have this guy. He's talking about Hadith. Now listen.
Sahih Bukhari? The answer is absolutely not. Let me explain. Unless you're a scholar or a student of knowledge or someone who's actually learned the sciences of Hadith, you should not be reading Bukhari or Muslim or any other of the 6 Hadith compilations.
Boy, if you don't get... ladies and did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? I played a video again.
Should you read Sahih Bukhari? The answer is absolutely not. Let me explain. Unless you're a scholar or a student of knowledge or someone who's actually learned the sciences of Hadith, you should not be reading Bukhari or Muslim or any other of the 6 Hadith compilations.
Boy! Seriously. He was saying, look, this is what he said.
Should you read Sahih Bukhari?
He's asking, should you read Sahih al-Bukhari, the book they have, the Sahih al-Bukhari? Should you read it? And listen to the answer he gave.
The answer is absolutely not.
The answer is absolutely not. Sahih al-Bukhari is the most popular hadith collection they use to say this is the one explaining the Quran. This garbage books, the most popular among all the hadith collections, is the number 1 according to them. They will grade it as the second after the Quran. This trash, they will grade it second after the Quran. You are nuts. You are not okay. Now this guy is saying, should you read these garbage books? He said, no, absolutely not. Then listen to his reason.
Let me explain. Unless you're a scholar or a student of knowledge or someone...
So unless you are a scholar or a student of knowledge or what?
Someone who's actually learned the sciences of Hadith,
unless
you should...
someone who has actually learned the science of Hadith. Aren't these books collections of Hadith supposed to be the one explaining the Quran according to them? So if the explanation of the Quran itself, the book which you claim is explaining the Quran, is kaput, is damaged, it cannot be comprehended by the common layman, like seriously, then what is this? What religion are you creating for people? Quran chapter 22 verse 78, God says he has chosen you and has not placed any difficulty upon you in the religion. Listen carefully. Quran chapter 22 verse 78, he is the one who has chosen you and has not placed any difficulty upon you in Islam. Then again, you have these people, Salam, Sister Yuki. You have these people who will tell you that you can't understand the Quran without the hadith of Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. This is what they tell you. Yet again, they are telling you that Sahih Bukhari hadith, don't read them unless you are a scholar. Unless you know the science of hadith. Yes, do you see what they are telling you? They are trying to leave the knowledge in the hands of the scholars so that they can keep enslaving you, which we call mental slavery. I'm serious. They can dictate the religion for you. They can dictate what needs to be told in the deen. Because when you investigate things yourself, wallahi, you put those books to the garbage. A book of breastfeeding adults, a book telling you to stone people to death, a book telling you the prophet married 6 years old girl, a book which tells you the prophet sleeps with 11 women in one night. This book. And then you say you need a science of hadith. Why not the science of Quran? These people, they are not serious. Wallahi, they are comedians.
Should not be reading Bukhari or Muslim or any other of the 6 hadith compilations.
So he says, if you are not a scholar and you don't know the science of hadith, you don't follow all, you are not a learned person, you should not be reading the Sahih al-Bukhari or Sahih Muslim or any of the 6 hadith collections like Jami al-Tirmizi, Sunan Ibn Dawood, Sunan Ibn Nisa. You mentioned them. You shouldn't be reading there. Listen carefully. They are telling you this. So this is why Mufti Mengs, Zakir Naiks, Khalid Yassins can stand boldly in front of the people and lie to you big time, because they know majority of you have been sidelined not to go and check, investigate. Quran chapter 3 verse 78. وَإِنَّ مِنْهُمْ لَفَرِيقًا يَلْؤُونَ أَلْسِنَتَهُمْ بِالْكِتَابِ لِتَحْسَبُوهُ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَمَا هُوَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَيَقُولُونَ هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ وَمَا هُوَ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ وَيَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. And indeed, among them, which exactly the children of Israel, that is the people of the book, did the same thing. The people of the Quran are repeating the same thing again. Among them are those who twist the book with their tongues to make you consider it is from the book, while it is not from the book. And then they will say it is from God, while it is not from God. And then they will say a lie about God while they know. The reason why they will say that lie for you confidently, because they know you cannot investigate. You cannot go and cross-check. And this is why babashuaib is here to teach you how to use the weapon against the scholars. Because when you know how to read, when you know how to check, when you know how to cross-check, nobody can lie to you, including myself. So if I'm saying something, you can verify. Is it there or not? Because I'm a human being. I can make a slip up. I can make a mistake. So if you don't study, how can you know? babashuaib is teaching you the right thing. If you are in the classroom and you are dumb, you are a fool, you are how like a deaf and dumb, and your teacher makes a mistake, how do you correct the teacher? How? Tell me, how? Do you get my point? So don't think these scholars are superhumans. They are just like you. They just happen to get the chance of promotion. Somebody will put them there. In the first place, who made them the scholar? What makes you think they are the scholars? Have you ever put them to the test? Because if somebody is knowledgeable, what is knowledge? Any piece of information that you know and you can prove is called knowledge. Do you get my point? Let's say I have the knowledge of fixing this phone, and I tell you, yes, I have the knowledge of fixing this phone. The only way you can know I have the knowledge is to, when this phone is broken, I have to fix it for you to see. That is what we call knowledge. I know it, information, and I can prove it. That is knowledge. So you're a scholar who you call ulama, the ones who we call ulama. The word ulama in Arabic means scholars. It is used in Quran chapter 35 verse 28. Go and check ulama. Innama yakhsha Allah min ibadihi ulama. Those who fear God the most are the what? Most learned ones. That is knowledgeable ones. That is scholars. So when you say a scholar, God wants you, the ordinary man, to become a scholar. Why? Because he says, do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Indeed, the hearing, the eyesight, and the mind, all those will be held accountable thereof. So he wants you to investigate things you follow. You don't either. God never wants you to be deaf and dumb. Do you think God wants fools to come and worship him or serve him? No. Not even babashuaib wants fools to follow him. So why? How much more God, the creator of the heavens and earth, to seek for fools? No. He needs you to learn. Even if you cannot read and write, when you are listening, you should have to use your faculties. Because it's not only about reading. You can be listening to a discourse or a monologue or a dialogue, and then you pick up the best part of it and implement in your lives so that you can be critical of yourself. You can ask questions. So if somebody is judging you, you know how to answer it for yourself. So you don't just sit there and then they tell you this guy is the chief imam. And then you say, oh, mashallah, he's our chief imam. First of all, what made him imam? I don't get it. What made him the imam? The word imam means leader. Thank you very much, Brother Adrian. Yeah, Brother Adrian says what? He says, when they know you know, they start doing the hadithiyun high step. Exactly. Yes. When they know you know, that's what they do. They start to play that game, to delve into the science of hadith or whatever, mazhab or whatever, mutawatir or isnad and so much rubbish. babashuaib is available. Let them find me. babashuaib is there. I'm waiting for you. So what they do is they'll fool you Because the agenda is to get the multitudes of people submitting to their authority. First of all, who gave them the authority? Because even a president of a nation can never have authority without the people deciding, agreeing to that. I'm serious. So if the people can sit down and reflect, how did this person become a scholar or a leader? How? What gave him the authority? Because it's either his knowledge or his power or his wealth. So if they call him scholar, have you ever put your scholar to the test? Babashuaib, me growing up, I put scholars to the test. I put even my teachers to the test. Yes. Because what makes you a teacher? What makes you a scholar? Put them to the test. Ask them questions. That's how you verify for yourself that, oh, indeed, this person is a scholar, because he knows what he's talking about and he can prove it to me. If you have any teacher, or you have a fisherman who always catches fish for you and he's not willing to teach you how to catch the fish, there's a problem. Yes, there's a problem. And this is why I do my lectures out there. You go and watch it, learn for yourself, see the evidences. I'm not saying you should agree with me 100%. No, you should disagree with me 100%. But at least you should have to resonate with the truth I'm speaking. Simple. Because at the end of the day, on the day of judgment, you'll be held accountable on your own. I will not be there for you. You will not be there for me. No. It's based on what your logic has actually accepted is what God is going to use to judge you. So don't just let foolish people be on social media or in the masjids calling themselves Iman scholars and so on. And then you think they are knowledgeable just because they are dressed like Arabs and they are wearing that thing. They appear handsome like Mufti Menk. And then you say, MashaAllah, this is, he looks like the Prophet. Look at the foolish people again. Have you seen the Prophet before? You hear people say, MashaAllah, Mufti Menk looks like a Prophet. That's how foolish some people have become in religion. Anyways, let's go to the next person. Yeah, Salam, you're welcome. Long time, bro. Yes, Sister Dana says a book telling you to drink camel pee. Camel weed, the book that tells you to can't plug your eye. Yeah, they tell you cannot plug your eye. Yeah, they tell you cannot even wear wigs. That is what the Hadith does. It will tell you all this. Yeah, they tell you all this. Seriously. But the same shuyuks, the scholars, they will be appealing, they will be enjoying watching ladies wearing wigs on social media and so on. Your scholars are on social media. Don't let them fool you as if they are not using social media. I'm serious. The Mufti Mengs, the Zakir, they are all using TikTok's platform. Don't let them lie to you and tell you, and you are thinking they are saints. Don't fool yourself. I'm serious. They are humans like you. All the beautiful ladies working on social media, scholars watch them too. Yeah, so don't think they are saints, right? They are human beings like you. They will tell you haram, 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 but then they are making money on social media off you. Let's go to the next one. He says not all sheikh has a ghost account. I'm serious. They do have ghost accounts, the scholars. I'm serious. They have ghost account. Why do you think your scholar has the biggest plasma TV in his house? What do you think is there for? Don't they use iPhones and iPhone 15s and so on? What do you think they are using it for? To always say hello, bye-bye? No, that's not what they are using that for. They watch TikTok. They watch YouTube. They understand. They watch all the things you are watching. So if they know something, why can't they give you the chance to also investigate what they know? I'm serious. Why? That is why you need the source of knowledge to know where this knowledge is coming from. So if they tell you babashuaib is knowledgeable, where did he get this knowledge? From the Quran. You can also get it from there. If your scholar knows Hadith, if he tells you from the Hadith, let him prove it so that you can also investigate and see what where he got that knowledge. You can see it. That's how to cross-check. Yeah, salam, prime and privilege. You're welcome. So let's move on to the next video. This other video also, which is another funny video. Let's see what the next video is about. The next video is this guy.
Siddiq is the greatest after the Prophet. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu is the greatest after the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Anyone who holds any other opinion, who differs to this opinion, he has been expelled from Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. He cannot call himself a Sunni. He cannot call himself from Ahl Sunnah if he differs from this opinion. I will mention inshallah some virtues of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. The Nabi salatu wasalam was sat with the companions, and he said, "O companions, there are 360 qualities of Jannah. There are 360 qualities of Jannah. When Allah Almighty bestows His favor on one of His servants, He grants them one of them qualities. When Allah Ta'ala wants to bestow a favor on you, Allah Almighty will grant you one of them qualities. And the Prophet of Allah said, if Allah grants you one quality of Jannah, you will enter Jannah. Allah grants you one quality from 360 qualities. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu was there. He began to cry. And he said, Ya Rasulullah alayhi wa sallam, does me, Abu Bakr, do I possess any one of them qualities? Or the Messenger of Allah, do I have any one of them qualities? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Oh Abu Bakr, not one, not two, not three, but you possess all 360 qualities of Jannah. All 360 qualities of Jannah, Abu Bakr, you possess. If one quality will take you to Jannah, then imagine the rank of the one who possesses all 360 qualities of Jannah.
Hey, I love that. These Mushriks, look, it's just a comedy religion they've set up. I'm serious. It's a joke. Hey, especially the sectarians. They make the religion so funny, right? And yet depressing for people. I'm serious. They don't give you the freedom, to think like a human being. I'm serious. Now check what he just said.
Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is the greatest after the Prophet.
He says Abu Bakr Siddiq is the greatest after the Prophet. Now these are the Khalifas they created in their own Hadith books. Mind you, Quran never mentioned anybody called Abu Bakr Siddiq. Quran never mentioned somebody called Umar bin al-Akhtab. Quran never mentioned what we call Ali, Sayyidina Ali or Ali. He never mentioned that. He never mentioned Uthman in the Quran. Never. The Quran never said there are 4 Khalifas in the Quran. It doesn't exist. No. So these people created a parallel religion, the Shias and the Sunnis and so on, and then they formulated these fictional stories. Just like we have Spider-Man, Batman, Captain Planet, Superman. These are fictional stories. These entities never existed. I'm serious. So they will just create all these stories to divert your attention. To be honest, they will divert your attention, and then they bring up these stories to you. Now, they says Abu Bakr is the greatest after the Prophet. Greatest in which criteria? In which category? Who is telling them this? It should be God, right? Why is it mentioned in the Quran? Because how do you know Abu Bakr is the greatest after the Prophet? How? Who should know this? Because the last time I checked, even when it comes to football, when they are awarding best players of the world, it is FIFA who has to officially announce the official best player of the world. Right? So if you go to BBC and BBC gives you the best player, it's just BBC. Nobody cares. I'm serious. If it's just BBC, nobody cares again. But if FIFA gives you the best player, yes, that one has value because that is one they care about. People care about. So now if you say Abu Bakr is the greatest after the Prophet, now listen to what he's going to say after that to make it worse. Listen to what he's going to say. He's a Sunni. Now listen to the claim, which makes it more, very funny.
As-Siddiq radiallahu anhu is the greatest after the Prophets alayhi salatu wasalam. Anyone who holds any other opinion, who differs to this opinion, he has been expelled from Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah.
It says anyone who has a difference of opinion, anybody who has a difference of opinion, with what he just said, you have been expelled from Ahl Sunnah. Guess what? We have a difference of opinion. I don't know his name. I think his name is Hafiz Hamza or something. Hafiz Hamza, if you are watching, we have a difference of opinion. Can you please, we are begging you, expel us from Ahl Sunnah. We don't need that. Seriously. So this is what the Sunnis and the Shias and so on have been fighting about. Nonsensical issues. Issues that has nothing to do with the guidance of Islam. And these are the people, the Christians and the Mushriks and the pagans out there will be propagating that these are the real Muslims. Because they are dressed with the jalbab and then this cloth, the turban, and then he appears with his beard and then they say, MashaAllah, he's a Muslim. When babashuaib is sitting like this with my nice match, my hoodie and my cap, no, they don't tag me as a Muslim. No, they say, look, like he's dressed like 50 Cent. No, we don't like this one. Hey, this Mushriks, eh? No, let's continue.
He cannot call himself a Sunni.
So he says, if you don't agree Abu Bakr is the greatest after the Prophet, you cannot call yourself a Sunni. So we agree. We are not Sunnis. We don't want to be Mushriks. We agree.
He cannot call himself from Ahl Sunnah if he differs from this opinion.
Yes, you cannot call yourself Ahl Sunni if you differ from this opinion he just tell you. The opinion of the Abu Bakr being the greatest after the Prophet. These foolish issues are even being discussed in Islam. Is that Islam? No, by the way. This is not Islam.
I will mention, inshallah, some virtues of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa was sought with the companions. And he said, all companions.
Now, let me tell you one thing about these people. When they are telling you stories about Hadith or whatever, they tell you the stories as if they were there. They saw it with their eyes, as if they are witnesses to it. And guess what? If you should ask him for the reference, he will say, "Akhi, I will give you next week." You will never see him again next week. He just quotes saying a story. When you go and cross-check where it is written, that is not how it is written. Many a times, the Mufti Menks do it, the Zakir Naiks, they do it, Yasir Kadi, they do it, Numan Ali, they all do it, this kind of thing. Even, how do you call it? Muhammad Hijab, he did it recently, where he said you can lie. He says the Prophet said you can lie. Yeah, it's part of Islam. To lie is halal in Islam. Yeah, he says sometimes you can lie. It's allowed. Muhammad Hijab. You think I'm lying? I'll be putting the video soon on YouTube. You see it. Muhammad Hijab say you can lie in Islam. It's allowed. They will be quoting from Hadith and they cannot give you the reference of the Hadith. I'm serious, to be honest. They cannot give you the reference. And then they will be talking. Do you understand? They will be talking about it. And yet when you ask them the proof, you are becoming the enemy. They say, hey, Akhi, why are you asking for the proof? You don't believe me? You don't believe what I'm saying? Why are you asking me the proof?
There are 360 qualities of Jannah.
Then he says, the Prophet says there are 360 qualities of the paradise, the Jannah, the garden, right?
There are 360 qualities of Jannah.
These people are trying to make Islam only for Muhammad and his people, as if Islam never existed with other prophets. When we say Islam, we are talking about submission to God. So submission to God, Abraham did the same. All the prophets submitted to God. That is what we call submission, Islam. Islam never started with Prophet Muhammad. You are the biggest fool to think Islam started with Prophet Muhammad. I'm serious. It never started with him. He just happened to be one of the messengers of God who also propagated Islam. So if you are thinking Islam just started in the 7th century, you are the biggest fool ever in history. Wallahi lazim. You are the biggest fool ever. Thank you, the Warner, for the gifts. I appreciate that. I repeat, If you think submission to God started in the 7th century, you are the biggest fool ever. Yes. Who is a fool? Someone who lacks good judgment. You have good judgment, you will never ever think Islam started with Prophet Muhammad. But sometimes I don't blame you. Do you know why you think Islam started in the 7th century? Because of the Hadith books. The way they propagated Islam, the way they make it seem Islam was built around Prophet Muhammad, that is where you start to think that Islam started in the 7th century. And that is why in the Western world, people have been misled concerning Islam. They think Islam started from the Arabs. Yeah, this is what they think. I'm serious. Now, for those of you who call yourself even Christians, Jesus never brought you any religion called Christianity. When Jesus was alive, nobody was called a Christian next to him. Not even his disciples were Christians. He himself was not a Christian. He was a submitter to God. He does the will of God, not his own will. So we submit to the will of God. That's what makes us Muslims. Do you get my point? Simple.
When Allah Almighty bestows His favor on one of His servants, He grants them one of them qualities.
Do you see the gibberish he's speaking? Whenever God grants the Jannah to His servant, He gives them one of the qualities out of the 360. So now listen carefully what He is going to say at the end.
When Allah Ta'ala wants to bestow a favor on you, Allah Almighty will grant you one of them qualities. And the Prophet of Allah said, if Allah grants you one quality of Jannah, you will enter Jannah.
He says, if God grants you one quality, out of the qualities, He will grant you just one, you will enter paradise. You will just enter Jannah. These are the stories they keep telling their people, and the people will just be sitting there. It's just like how do you call it? How do you call this thing? Is this hypnosis or something? You are just sitting down listening to them. Then they play this nasheed. When we say nasheed, do you see the music? Do you hear the music at the background when he's talking? You hear some music playing at the background. We call this kind of music nasheed. This nasheed they play, it puts you in the hypnosis state. We call that hypnosis is a state that resembles sleep, but that is induced by suggestion. Right? So the moment you are listening, you are listening to what they are saying. Your attention is divided, and that is why a lot of them, when they go to the masjid, listen to this kind of people, they sleep. You see them sitting down in the crowd and they are sleeping, because this hypnosis they do, it puts you like in a side of slumber, sleep, and at the same time you are listening to what they are saying, even though it's nonsensical, but you are enjoying it. I'm serious. We have all been in this slumber before, growing up. As a kid, I've went to the Shia madrasa and Sunni madrasa. We have all been to this kind of hypnosis before. I'm serious. And they still do it to some people. So mainly, check around, listen to some of their videos. You see them playing this nasheed behind their videos. So that is why, correctional officer, when I make my videos, I'm playing a different style of music. And these people are agitated when they hear me playing an instrumental instead of playing the nasheed type. I play a real soundtrack, like a beat. When I'm playing it, it bends them to the core, right? Then they say, "Oh, you are playing music. It's haram. It's haram. Your nasheed is halal, right?" Hey, these Mushriks, eh? They have Arabized everything. Let's go on.
Allah grants you one quality from 360 qualities. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu was there. He began to cry. And he said, Ya Rasulullah alayhi wa sallam, does me, Abu Bakr, do I possess any one of them qualities? Or the Messenger of Allah, do I have any one of them qualities? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Oh Abu Bakr, not one, not two, not three, but you possess all 360 qualities of Jannah.
David Wood bad, and come bro for ya.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
one who possesses all three.
You see, these people will be saying all this nonsensical aspect of their statements. People will be sitting down enjoying whatever they are saying. I'm serious. Like, whatever he's saying to me sounds depressing. I'm serious. What he's saying, if I'm listening to this for like 10 minutes, I can have headache. Like, it's bugging my head, my mind. It's like, seriously, what is this? What is this? This. No wonder he's a Sunni, by the way. Then he said, God granted, Prophet was telling Abu Bakr Siddiq, God has given you all the 360 qualities. So that is why, according to this guy, that is why Abu Bakr is the greatest after the Prophet. So if you don't agree, you are not a Sunni. He said that. Hey, these comedians, eh? This is just the tip of the iceberg of some of the things these mainstream sectarians present to you as Islam. I'm serious. Okay, let's go to the next video. Yeah, thank you very much, Gabriel McLean. The next video is this guy. Yeah, let me play this. Let me share it here. This guy, listen to this comedy. Listen to this story. Such a comedy.
Stuck out both of his hands to Adam alayhi salam, and both of them were closed, and he told Adam alayhi salam to pick, and Adam alayhi salam, he picked the right hand of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Azza wa Jalla, he opened up his hand. Every child of Adam alayhi salam was laid out for him to see, from his direct sons all the way to the day of judgment. But one son stuck out in particular to Adam alayhi salam, and he was Dawood alayhi salam. And mentions in the Hadith, yani he was the most shining out of all of them, but he was the least in age in terms of how many years he's going to be on the earth. The amount of years that Allah Azza wa Jalla kutiba lah, that Allah Azza wa Jalla wrote for him, was 40, and that bothered Adam alayhi salam. That bothered him. Imagine a son that he never met. He told Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, Ya Rabb, oh Allah, increase him in age. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, Dhak. He said, that's what it is. That's what I wrote for him. But look at the concern of Adam alayhi salam. Our point is, look at that mercy he had for a son that he never met. To the point, Adam alayhi salam was given 1,000 years to live on the earth. And he told Allah Azza wa Jalla, take 60 of my years and give it to Dawood alayhi salam. So Allah Azza wa Jalla took those 60 years, prescribed it for Dawood, and increased it to 100. So the point of the hadith that I mentioned was just to show that one part of the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla has been split out to mankind, to the point that a father can have mercy for a child that comes after how many generations. Allah Azza wa Jalla, he then mentions in the hadith that I have saved the 99 for myself on the day of judgment.
Like, seriously. Like, seriously. Like, seriously. Did you hear the nasheed also behind this video? Okay. Like, these are things I want you to critically observe. Critically observe their videos. I'm serious. They do it for a reason. Right? Critically observe their videos. They put the nasheeds behind their videos for a reason. Because if they have to put strictly their verbal statements, it's totally nonsensical. I'm serious. Like, even a kid's child play story, bedtime story, is more sensible than the nonsensical things they say. But because of the nasheed, it is like it puts you in the state of hypnosis. Right? So whilst your attention is divided, you'll be like, even though what he says is nonsensical, you cannot detect the nonsense yet. So let me play the video again.
Allah Azza wa Jalla, he stuck out both of his hands to
You see, it goes with the nasheed. He says, God Azza wa Jal, usually the Mushriks, they like using this kind of term, Allah Azza wa Jal, right? Like Zul Jalali wal Ikram. So Azza wa Jal, they keep saying. Then they will say, Allah Azza wa Jal stretch out both of his hands to Adam. Now, do you see how they shrink God to make him like a human being? Like as if a human being is facing another human being and does this. So God stretching both of his hands to Adam. I wish I could get this guy face to face to ask him. When he saw the hands, was it black or blue? He's lucky that Rashid is saving him. Seriously. What is wrong with these mushriks? Eh? So he stretched his hands to Adam. And this story is not in the Quran. Where do we find this story? Who were able to pass behind Muhammad and go to God to see this story? I don't get it. How? Like, seriously? So God stretched both to Adam. Hey! Allah mushrike gaba ku jin bakana.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Are you kidding me? Like, seriously?
Allah Azza wa Jalla, he stuck out both of his hands to Adam alayhi salam, and both of them were closed. And he told
Guys, I'm serious. Seriously, this video is giving me headache. I'm serious. So God stretched both of his hands to Adam. Hey! I love that. Hey! Like, seriously. Hey! Like, do they reason at all? This is why I'm telling you, if you are a sectarian, you don't, what we call common sense and logic, you don't have it. I'm serious. Like, people don't question the scholars and their imams when they tell them this nonsensical type of stories. They don't question them because they put you under hypnotic state, like hypnosis. So the brain is shut down, sleeping at the same time. So yes, that is my word, kaput. They put you kaput. So like the proper questioning. Hey, eh? So videos like this will make Sato happy. Sato would get this kind of videos. Hey, hey, okay.
Allah Azza wa Jalla, he stuck out both of his hands to Adam alayhi salam, and both of them were closed. And he told Adam alayhi salam to pick. And Adam alayhi salam, he picked the right hand of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Azza wa Jalla, he opened up his hand. Every child of Adam alayhi salam was laid out for him to see. From his...
Hey! Like, my head is aching. Seriously. Hey. What is this? Like, he stretched the hands to Adam, told him to pick one. So he hey, no, seriously. Oh my God. So he picked one and then he saw this. Oh my God. Shit. Damn. What is this? These people are supposed to be taken seriously, for God's sake. These people. Hey!
direct sons all the way to the day of judgment. But one son stuck out in particular to Adam alayhi salam, and he was Dawood alayhi salam. And mentions in the Hadith, yani he was the most shining out of all of them. But he was...
You see how he mentions in the Hadith, and they will never give you the reference because they want to mentally enslave you, right? And because of the authorities they have in the media spaces, in the social media, in the communities, you might think these people are the wisest in a community. Wallahi, I'm telling you for a fact, they are the dumbest ever in a community. But because of the position, they are just as we see some of our politicians that they are brain dead. Same goes with the religious leaders you're seeing around. I'm serious.
the least in age in terms of how many years he's going to be on the earth. The amount of years that Allah Azza wa Jalla kutiba lah, that Allah Azza wa Jalla wrote for him, was 40, and that bothered Adam alayhi salam. That bothered him. Imagine a son that he never met. He told Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, Ya Rabb, oh Allah, increase him in age. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said, Dhak. He said, that's what it is. That's what I wrote for him. But look at the concern of Adam alayhi salam. Our point is, look at that mercy he had for a son that he never met. To the point, Adam alayhi salam was given 1,000 years to live on the earth. And he told Allah Azza wa Jalla, take 60 of my years and give it to Dawood alayhi salam. So Allah Azza wa Jalla took those 60 years, prescribed it for Dawood, and increased it to 100. So the point of the hadith that I mentioned was just to show that one part of the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla has been split out to mankind, to the point that a father can have mercy for a child that comes after how many generations. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He then mentions in the hadith that I have saved the 99 for myself on the Day of Judgment.
Oh my God, my God, my God, my God. Guys, if you are listening to this kind of videos, they will damage your brain. I'm serious. This thing is trying to give me a brain damage. Hey. Oh no. Hey. Okay. Hey. I'm lost of words. I'm serious. So according to him, he says God gave Adam 1,000 years. So Adam says you can take 60 years out of my year and give it to them. Hey! No, it's okay. It's okay. No problem. Hey! 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 Oh, no. I'm shocked. Seriously, I'm shocked.
Whatever Allah says, whatever the Prophet ﷺ says, we believe in it and we affirm it without thinking too deeply about this, about the actuality of this act.
I think that's just dumb.
The sectarians, they are programmed, they are people. Whenever they say something and they say the Prophet says it, don't question it. That's how they program. I don't know if most of you heard this. That's how they program people, especially from young age. That's why we growing up in mostly the so-called Islamic countries, they enforce us to go to the madrasas so that they will mentally enslave you. Right? They will mentally enslave you. So whatever they say, you have to accept it. They will tell you whatever you heard that the Prophet said, you have to accept it. But the same scholars are telling us there's a weak hadith, da'if. The weak hadith are doubtful. Then there's a categorization of what we call sahih, which is authentic. Then there's a categorization of what we call the hasan, which is good, and so on. You classify them in different categories. So even the ones they classify as sahih, it is problematic. They are all problematic. How much more the ones you classify as da'if? Right? Now, these are some of the things you don't pay attention to. They use this hypnosis to put you in the state where they will be saying the dumbest kind of statement. But when you are listening to, you can be saying, MashaAllah. But you don't see the dumbest side of it. And that is why when you tell a sectarian that you agree with the hadith which says the Prophet went to bring 50 prayers, he will say, yeah, I agree. So when you put him down, don't tell him it is nonsense. Just put him down one-on-one. Start asking him a question. So you agree the Prophet went on a burak, like a flying horse, the burak. You agree? He will say, yeah. You agree he went with Jibril to the first heaven, second heaven, third. He will say, I agree. So he went till he met who? God? He will say, yeah, I agree. He met God. Did he see God? They will say, no, he didn't see God. Okay, he went to meet God. Okay. What did he go to do? He went to take 50 prayers. So these 50 prayers, if God can bring Jibril to give the Quran to Muhammad here on earth, the same God couldn't give those prayers to Muhammad on earth. So Muhammad has to come to take prayers. Okay, no problem. So he went to take the 50 prayers. When he is coming back, remember, he's coming back with what? With Jibril. So coming back, and where was the flying horse? The burak. Was he still part of it? Okay. Then Moses being smarter than all the prophets and including God himself, according to the Hadith, he stopped Muhammad and he said, what did your Lord reveal? Then Muhammad has to tell his supervisor, which is Moses, that, oh, our Lord revealed 50 prayers for my people, for your people. He says, no, they cannot do it. Go back. Imagine Moses is dead. He's a dead man. He is not alive. He was dead. Muhammad met him. So he told Muhammad, your people cannot do it. So Moses and Muhammad, who knows his people more? So Moses knows Muhammad's people more than God and more than Muhammad himself. He told him, go back. Seriously. And Muhammad keep going up and down. Go back, go, coming back, go, coming back. And then he said, now I'm shy. Hey, Allah. Seriously. Indoctrination. It's never easy. It's never easy. Okay. Let me go to the next video. The next video is this guy. I saw this guy using this, saying this in this.
Does not consider the stone of Mecca an idol.
Good, because we don't worship it. Again, the stone has no power. We don't say that's God. We don't say it's an image of God. We don't say it's a representation of God. We don't worship it. For example, if you had the Holy Grail of Jesus or something like that, right? That would be a sign that you would respect because it's tied to Jesus, right? Like that, this stone that was respected by the prophets before because it was sent from God. It's something that is a blessing, but we don't worship it in any shape or form. Even the companion Umar, the companion of the Prophet, when he went to the stone to touch it, he said it. He goes, I know you have no power, you have no strength, except what Allah has blessed you with. So just like a mosque is holy, we respect the mosque, we don't pray to it. But unlike if you make a statue of Jesus, you're like, this is God representation. You know,
well, I don't think that's right. You know, I wholeheartedly.
Now let me show you the problem with this. What this guy said. This guy is called Uthman Farooq. For people based in the USA, you know him, right? He's a Sunni also. He's as another confused entity. Huh? Now let me show you the problem in the statement he said. Listen.
Why do Muslims not consider the stone of Mecca an idol?
Why do Muslims not consider the stone of Mecca an idol? You know, when you go to the house, the Kaaba, the cube, there's a stone next to it. You see people fighting, dying to kiss it, dying to touch it. And look, listen, on a spot, you can have about 100 people kissing the same spot. I wonder how much sickness people go back home with on the same spot. You see people kissing the black stone. All this because according to the Hadith narrations that they say that the stone was sent from heaven. It's never mentioned in the Quran, ladies and gentlemen, please. Before the pagans out there and the Christians and so on, you start butchering Islam. That is not Islam. You are butchering the Mushriks, the Hadithiyus, and then they've created a different religion. They have Sunni, they have Shia, they have Tijaniya, Ahmadiyya, and so on. So if you want to butcher them, target those groups who use those books to target. So now, they will mention what they call this stone, the black stone. So they put it next to the Kaaba. You see people fighting. People try dying to kiss it. They lick it. They kiss it. They decorated it very nicely. You can see it. For those watching from Facebook and YouTube, you can see it on the screen. You know the stone I'm talking about. This stone, Uthman Farooq was asked a question. Why do Muslims not consider this as an idol? Now listen to the answer, and I'm going to show you the confusion in their thoughts.
Good, because we don't worship it.
Then he says, because we don't worship it. This is what Uthman Farooq said. Uthman, is it Uthman ibn Farooq, right? Now, let's understand the meaning of the word worship. If you have money, you can be worshiping your money. If you have a phone, you can be worshiping your phone. If you have a newborn baby, you can be worshiping your baby. When you say worship, it doesn't necessarily mean just to go and sit, bow down to something. That is worship. No. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Quran chapter 51 verse 56. God says he did not create the jinns and the human beings except what? To serve him. That is to worship him. Now we have people who worship money. We have people who worship entertainment, who worship, you name it. They worship their job. They worship their wives. They worship their husbands. They worship their kids. You name it. Worship comes in different forms. The reason why we have to put God first, because it's God you worship. You can love your wife, you can love your husband, you can love your kids. Don't love them to the extent of idolizing them like a worship. That's the dumbest thing ever you can do. Right? So now let's understand worship. Now, wherever you are, you can check. When we say a feeling of profound love and admiration, that can be classified as worship. When you have a profound love for something and admiration for something, it can be classified as worship. Then we have, in a verbal form, we say love unquestioningly and uncritically, or to excess, venerate as an idol, can be classified as worship. So Quran chapter 2 verse 165. Thank you very much, Adam Harris, for the gifts on YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you. If you check Quran chapter 2 verse 165, those who believe, they have greater love for God than any other thing. The believers. For instance, me, I put God first to my family. I put God first to my kids. I can lose my kids. Right? I can lose my father, I can lose my mother, I can lose my, you name it, my family, everybody I can lose. But I cannot accept myself to lose God. Because we come from God and we go back to God. If I lose God, I failed the test. Do you get my point? I'm giving you an example. If you are at a workplace, you have workmates, you have colleagues, you have friends, you have whatever. You can lose anybody at work. But when you lose your boss, you have lost the job. Do you get the analogy I'm giving you? So in the sense of serving God, God comes first. We come from God, we go back to God. Look, I did not choose to be born in Africa. Neither did I choose to be a black man. God chose that. The family I was born in, I didn't choose to be born in that family. God chose that for me. So he makes the decision for me. I needed God to give me kids. He gave me two beautiful kids, a boy and a girl. I put God first before them. Because he gave me them. He gave me those kids. The mistake I see a lot of people do is they put their kids before God. So God can take them away. When he takes them away, who do you go to? Can you bring them back if they die? If they die, can you bring them back? Okay, what if you die and leave the kids? Now what? What if you die and leave the kids behind? What are you going to do? Do you know where you're going? You're going back to the one who gave you life in the first place. So put God first. Love God more than anything. Worship God more than anything. Serve God more than anything or anyone. Put God first. Okay, good. Now, after speaking about this wisdom, go and check Quran chapter 5 verse 54 to understand why you have to love God more than anything. Right? Put God first. But now let's go back to these idol worshippers. Osman ibn Farouk, he's justifying the means why people go to Mecca and then go to the stone. Now, they don't consider this worship, but this is worship in the actual sense. He says we don't worship it. So listen to his justification, and I'm going to prove to you that they worship the stone. So listen.
Again, the stone has no power.
Now he says the stone has no power. Why do you put it next to the Kaaba? That shows power. Babashuaib has no power. Why do you devote your time watching Babashuaib? Babashuaib has no power. Then how come he sets the time that he's going to do a program and people will sit down to watch and you say Babashuaib has no power? Do you understand the analogy I'm giving you? You said the stone has no power. How come it has that privilege to be put in a higher state, to be decorated, for people to kiss it, love it, adore it, cry and fight over it, and you say it doesn't have a power? Are you in your right senses? Listen to the definitions of power. Possession of controlling influence. Possession of the qualities required to do something or get something done. If Babashuaib can set the time for program and sit here, and then people will join my program to watch, it shows Babashuaib also has power. If that stone can be put in Kaaba, next to the Kaaba, right? For people to buy plane tickets and go there, right? To kiss it, touch it, fight over it. That shows the possession of power that stone has. And you say the stone doesn't have a power? Oh my God, these Mushriks don't understand what they're saying. Right? Now, let me show you why these people go to Mecca, adore that stone, and how much power it has. And they are Mushriks, but they are trying to justify. I'm serious.
We don't say that's God. We don't.
He says, we don't say that is God. Look, somebody can actually look you in the eye and insult you without actually using a word, which is vulgar. I'm serious. Somebody can look you in the eye and insult you without actually using an insulting word. Do you get my point? Have you ever been in a situation where somebody will just look at you like this? That's an insult. It means look at you. Do you understand? It's an insult, but without saying a word. You are saying it's not a God. That's what you are saying from the mouth. Your action is explaining otherwise. A word to a wise is enough. A wise person doesn't need you to say with your mouth that this is God. A wise person doesn't need you to say you are a thief before he knows you are a thief. Your actions is what determines you are a thief. Do you understand? So now, he says, we don't say it is God. Okay.
We don't say it's an image of God.
We don't say it is the image of God.
We don't say it's a representation of God.
We don't say it is the representation of God. Then the question is, why is it there? Why don't you put it to the trash? Common sense. No, common sense. We don't say it is God. We don't worship it. We don't say it is the image of God. We don't say it is the representation of God. Please, the question is, what is it doing there? Put it to the trash then. Somebody will ask you, Baba, this phone I'm holding is Nokia, right? Nokia 6.2. This Nokia, somebody will ask me, Baba Tribe, what do you use this phone? Oh, I don't need it. It's useless. I don't say it is important. I don't use this phone. I don't like it. So then the person next to me will be like, okay, let me take it home. Hey, don't take it home. Leave it there. Just because I say I don't use it, you want to take it home. Leave it. You go and take that stone next to the Kaaba and see what they will do to you. I'm serious. They will burn you alive. Go. You go and steal that stone. Go and steal that stone there next to the Kaaba and see what they will do to you. It is an idol. Okay. What is the definition of an idol? An idol is a material effigy that is worshipped, meaning it's had people show it love, profound love, excess love. That is the definition of an idol. And a material effigy that is worshipped. Worship means to adore something profoundly, excessively. Someone who is adored blindly, excessively. If you do the same for an effigy, we call it worship. That's an idol. An idol instance, a perfect embodiment of a concept that you devote yourself to, is an idol. Still, the Mushriks will say, we don't worship it. We don't say it is God. They justify all the vocabularies in the world just to tell you that they don't worship that idol. Okay, let's go.
God, we don't worship it. For example, if
we don't worship it, does he understand the meaning of worship? No, do people actually understand the meaning of worship? Because these days, it seems the word worship has been lost. Even some of the pagans among the Christians, they will say they don't worship the statues in their churches. They don't understand the meaning of worship because they go to the statue to do this. If right now the statue is being burnt down, they'll be crying. If it's just a statue, leave it to burn. Why are you crying when it's burning down? Seriously?
If you had the Holy Grail of Jesus or something like that, right? That would be a...
Whenever they are being questioned about something, they always shift their attention to Christianity, trying to let Christians look bad, always. This pagan, these mushriks, that's what they do. They shift their attention to the Christians. The guy is just asking you about Islam, a simple question about the Kaaba and then the stone. That's all he asked you. He never mentioned Christianity. He asked you a simple question concerning the Kaaba and the stone, the black stone, which has never been mentioned in the Quran. You will never see a verse where it says the black stone. It's not in the Quran. Never does it say the stone was sent from heaven. It's not in the Quran. Never did God tell you when you go to the Hajj, you should go and kiss the stone or touch it. It's not there. So if it is not an idol, why do you put it there for people to be dying over it?
Sign that you would respect because it's tied to Jesus, right? Like that, this stone that was respected by the prophets before.
He said the stone was respected by the prophet. That shows you the power of the stone. If you say the stone has no power, why is the prophet respecting the stone? Oh, wow. Seriously. Look, if I'm a driver, why do I respect the road signs? The signs on the road, why do I respect it? If those road signs are useless, they don't have any power, why don't I just drive the way I want? Why do I respect the road sign? Common sense is not part of the man-made religions. Common sense, logic, common sense, it's not there. If you're part of any sectarian religion, you don't have common sense. I'm serious. Common sense is thrown out of the window. Why do you respect that stone there? You clean it, you keep it nicely. You don't want even people to go and destroy it. And then you say what? You don't idolize it? You don't worship it? Why is it next to the Kaaba? What kind of justifications are you trying to give? Now you say the prophet respects it. Look at the foolishness. If the prophet respects a black stone, what does that tell you? The stone has a power, right?
Or because it was sent from God.
Then he says the prophet respects it because it was sent from God. Oh, so if God sends something, that thing has a respect. God sent down from the Quran. You respect the Quran, right? Because God sent it down. Yeah. You see. You say you claim the stone was sent by God, and then you claim it doesn't have power again. So God has sent something which is powerless, which is useless, but yet you put it next to the Kaaba and you idolize it, and yet you say you don't worship it, you don't idolize it. Seriously? I see why the Christians will say they worship 3-in-1 God. 3-in-1. Three persons in one. And then you, the mainstream mushriks, you say you don't agree with the Christians when they are telling you they worship 3-in-1 shampoo or 3-in-1 Nescafe. You are telling them they are not making sense. And here you are making the same foolishness. The same foolishness you are also making. And when the pagans among Christians also talk, you say, no, we are not like you. You are worshiping Jesus. Well, is it not better to worship a human being than to worship a stone? Is it not better for somebody to even worship a human being than to go and worship a stone? Is it not better? Oh, let's be honest. Seriously.
Because why? If you claim the stone doesn't have power, you are worshiping it, you are fighting. Look, try to find a video about the black stone in Mecca. See how people are fighting to kiss it. Look, somebody can even punch somebody. Say, it's my turn. It's my turn. Hey, hey, you kiss it already. Go away. Let me kiss it. Hey. Hey. These mainstream Muslims, they will justify everything as if they have all the logic when they are talking against Christians. Yes. Huh?
It's something that is a blessing.
Now he said the stone is a blessing. The stone which you say there's no power, you are now saying the stone is a blessing. Hey. Oh my God. Hey.
But we don't worship it in any shape or form.
You see, to make it worse, he says we don't worship it in any shape or form. This guy is lucky it is not babashuaib asking him this question. I'm serious. He will sweat me asking you this question, and then you tell me you don't worship it in any shape or form. Something that people pay thousands of dollars to go and fight to kiss it. You say no shape of. Then take it next to the Kaaba. Take it off. If it has no power, take it off. Let's see. Yeah, Ninu, please, Allah. On Turkey, Asia. So Turkey, Asia. Now listen to what he has to say.
Even the companion Umar, the companion of the Prophet, when he went to the stone to touch it, he said it. He goes, I know you have no power. You have no.
Look at the foolishness. Then they quote their hadith where Umar went to touch the stone after the Prophet. He says, I know you have no power. I know you have no strength.
Except what Allah has blessed you with.
Except what God has blessed you with.
So just like.
Look at the foolishness. He's even talking to a stone. Oh my God. What is wrong with these people? Huh? He's telling us Umar went to talk to the stone. I know you have no power. I know you have no strength. It is only what God has blessed you with. That is why I'm touching you. Talking to a stone. Oh my God. Hey. Hey, why is it this Mushriks, eh? Hey, sectarians. Oh, you what?
Has blessed you with. So just like a mosque is holy, we respect the mosque, we don't pray to it. But unlike if you make a statue of Jesus, you're like, this is God.
You see, again, he went to Jesus again. Just like unlike you make a statue of Jesus. Oh, this is God. Like seriously. Seriously. You are being asked a question about Islam, the man-made Islam you are created, worshiping the stone next to Kaaba. Answer that. You leave that. You are talking about the Christians. What kind of straw man is this?
Representation, you know.
Well, I don't think that's right. You know, I wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's not right. That is not right. No, that is Usman Farouk, another comedian. People take him seriously. I don't take this kind of guy seriously, right? Let's go to the next video. The next video is this guy, Shamsi, right? Shamsi from UK.
Quran says follow Ahl Bayt.
Okay, 1 second, yeah. So firstly, your definition of Sahaba.
No, I'm asking a question. No, I'm not going to Sahaba.
Oh, let me finish.
No. I'm going to interrupt you because you don't answer my question.
No, I am answering a question.
No, what was my question? What was my question?
For me.
What was my question?
Habibi, listen, let me finish. For
say
me.
it, come on, say
listen,
it. You know.
Habibi, listen, for me, the Ahlul Bayt are also included amongst the Sahaba.
I didn't ask you that. I'm saying, okay, give me the verse.
See the problem?
It says follow Ahl Bayt.
Right?
From the Quran.
So Habibi,
can you ask him the question? Because maybe my English is bad.
Habibi,
can you ask him the question?
Finish. No, listen to my point.
Can you ask him the question? Do you understand my question?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear what Shamsi is talking about? He's asking a Shiite person, a Shiite, somebody who is a Shia person. He's asking him that give me a verse where God says you should follow Ahlul Bayt from the Quran. Now I'm going to repeat the video. Critically pay attention. I think I've played such a video, a similar video like this before by Shamsi. But there is a reason why I'm playing such a video, so that you critically examine how the sectarians try to have dialogues or discussions with you. You don't need to be exceptionally knowledgeable to face these people. You just need wisdom.
Is there a verse in the Quran that says follow Ahl Bayt?
Okay,
He's asking the Shia person that is there a verse from the Quran which says follow Ahlul Bayt? Why specifically the Quran? Is it not the same Sunni people who tell us when we ask them for an evidence from the Quran, they will say, look, they are the Quranist, Quraniyun. You understand? They will start name tagging you. But he, the Sunni, when he was doing it to a Shia person, that is justified. Do you see the irony and the hypocrisy there? Right? So these are some of the videos you should be paying attention to online. You have to look for this kind of videos, use it against them. I'm serious. Use it against them. What gives him the right to think that he is in the position to ask a Shia person that, give me a verse where it says you should follow Ahlul Bayt? Why can't I also ask you, give me a verse where it says I should follow Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim or Hadith books? Why can't you why can't I also ask you, Shamsi? Don't worry, your days are numbered. When I come to UK, Hyde Park, inshallah, we will see if you guys can stand the test of time. The silly kind of argument you use all around social media, I see everything. God willing, I will see you face to face, you this kind of people. And then we see if you can stand it. To prove it, I'll play your own videos against you. All your name it. I'll play your videos against you, and then you have to explain yourselves. How come you are telling a Shia person to give you a verse where it says they should follow Ahlul Bayt? I will also ask you to give me a verse where it says you should follow Sahih Bukhari. That is where we will see all the tafsirs coming from different angles.
So firstly, your definition of Sahaba.
No, I'm asking a question. No, I'm talking Sahaba.
Oh, let me finish.
No.
Do you see how he's placing emphasis on answering the question? He doesn't want the guy to explain. Vice versa, the same Mushriks, that is the same thing they do to us. When we ask them a question, they want to explain. They want to give you all the dictionaries. Do you see? That is what they do. When you are talking to a sectarian, you ask him one question, simple question, direct question. They will say, let me explain. What do you need to explain? I don't get it. babashuaib, are you married or single? Then I will say, let me explain. Oh my God. The question is, are you married or single? Then I will say, let me explain. What? Ladies and gentlemen, what are you going to explain? I don't get it. Do you have kids or not? Let me explain. Hey, Allah, look, I'm trying to weaponize it against these mushriks so that you know all the tactics, the game, the gymnastics they play, and the game of semantic they play when you are having a serious, simple dialogue or discussion with them. Right? So the question is, look, even if it's complex, somebody says, Santi Kasola says it can be complicated. No, let me tell you. The question is, are you married or single? There's nothing complicated about it. Even if it is complicated, what are you going to tell me? Oh, I'm married, but we are separated. You are still married because on record it says you are married, but you are separated, right? so far as you are not divorced, is still married. What are you going to explain? The person is not asking you for explanation. If you are a single person, your status should not read married. Simple. So it's either you are single or you are married. You can be married and having complications or problems. That's normal. That's acceptable. But what is stopping you from answering? Why are you going to say, let me explain? It shows you are devious. It shows you are trying to act like a phony, a hypocrite. You have something to hide. And that is exactly what sectarians do. A simple discussion, you ask them a simple question, they say, let me explain. I'm serious, always. Let me explain. You say, Ahi, it's not about explanation. Look, did God ask us to follow Sahih Bukhari or not? You say, let me explain. Let me explain. Now look at what Shamsi is doing to the Shia guy.
Is there a verse in the Quran that says follow Ahl Bayt?
Okay, 1 second, yeah. So firstly, your definition of Sahaba.
No, I'm asking a question. No, I'm talking about Sahaba.
Oh, let me
no.
Did I
I'm going to interrupt you because you don't answer my question.
No, I am answering a question.
No, what was my question? What was my question?
For me.
What was my question?
Habibi, listen, let me finish. For
say
me.
it, come on, say
listen,
it. You know.
Habibi, listen, for me, the Ahlul Bayt are also included amongst the Sahaba.
I didn't ask you that. I'm saying, okay, give me the verse.
See the problem?
It says follow Ahl Bayt. Right? From the Quran.
So we Habibi,
can you ask him the question? Because maybe my English is bad.
Habibi,
can you ask him the question?
No, listen to my point.
Can you ask him the question? Do you understand my question?
Do you see their line of arguments? Do you see how they argue? Now this is sectarians. Look, I'm making a program like this for a reason, to depict, to show you some of their weakness and their shambles and whatever they do to you. Right? These people appear to be knowledgeable. I'm serious. They are not. Number one, they will use the Arabism over you when you're having a discussion. They try to use the advantage of the Arabic language over you. Number two, they will try to use the advantage of the tafasir books, the books of their scholars, against you. Now, I'll be forming up a online classes. Like not so much people, but where I have like a routine of teaching people the criteria or how to deal with sectarians, how to have discussions with them, especially the learned ones when you meet them. There's a line of discussion you have to go with them, right? And when having discussions with them, you don't have to answer everything. There are things you can say, I'll answer later. And there are things you can say, I'll have to look it up. I'll get back to you. Then there are things you can say, this is the answer. You give the verse. Then you tell them, what is the answer? You ask them. So there's a line of discussion. There's a way the direction of discussion has to go. And you have to be extra careful to pay attention to the minute detail on how these people are defensive when it comes to having a discussion. They are very, very defensive. They can get angry with the blink of an eye. So this is why, babashuaib, when you see me having a dialogue or discussion with them, I comport myself at the highest level I can. So you can see me being tamed, like a bit jovial. So I try to keep my composure because they deal with emotions, not rationality. When you are a rationalized person, you deal with rationality, you can face any sectarian on the planet Earth. I'm serious. But when you are quick-tempered, and you have your emotions overtakes you, you can't deal with a sectarian. Yes, you can't. So what I'll be doing is I'll be organizing an online distant class group where I'll be teaching people all these criteria. Like it's just like a curriculum. I've made like a syllable where I'll be teaching people step by step how to deal with them. Right? So you can be dealing with a person. One of their traits is, you know, for people who watch boxing, like boxing, before the boxing match, you will see the opponent insulting you, calling you names, calling you a dog, calling you. The reason why this is a tactic. It is a tactic to instill fear. And when they instill that fear, they raise your emotions higher. Now, when your emotions goes up, your logic drops down. So you lack what we call rationality when your emotions are high. So there are a lot of things you miss. So these people will beat you by bullying you, by teasing you, by mocking you. I'm serious. Right? So when it comes to intellectual battle, sectarians are not good at it. So when you give in the emotional aspect of your weakness, you're done. They will use that weakness against you till the end. Yes, this is what they do. And this is why when you are dealing with them, you ask them a question, stick to the question. Don't let the person explain anything. Akhi, how many books did God give the prophet? He will say, let me explain. Say, no, I don't need explanation. Akhi, how many books did God give the prophet? He will say, Akhi, let me explain. Say, no, I don't need explanation. Let him answer that question first. Then you can give him a chance to explain. Do you see the point? They avoid the question, answering the question, because it gives them advantage in the discussion. Because this is what they are going to do. When he refuses to answer your question, be prepared. He's going to ask you a question. I'm serious. When the moment he refuses, because when he answers your question, his argument is flawed. He can't further make any sense again. So he has to brush off your question to put in his explanation and ask you a question. So now you have given him the dominance. So that person will not give you the advantage to retrieve back your question again. No. When they say, let me explain, says that's the end of the argument. No, I don't need you. So that's the same tactic Shamsi was using against the Shia person. So check the video again.
Is there a verse in the Quran says follow Ahl Bayt?
Okay, 1 second, yeah. So firstly, your definition of Sahaba.
No, I'm asking a question. No, I'm talking about Sahaba.
Let me finish.
No. I'm going to interrupt you because you don't answer my question.
No, I am answering a question.
No, what was my question? What was my question?
For me.
What was my question?
Habibi, listen, let me finish. For me.
Said, come on, Said.
Habibi, listen, for me, the Ahlul Bayt are also included amongst the Sahaba.
I didn't ask you that. I'm saying, okay, give me the verse.
You see the problem?
It says follow Ahl Bayt. Right? From the Quran.
So we Habibi,
can you ask him the question? Because maybe my English is bad.
Habibi,
can you ask him the question?
No, listen to my point.
Can you ask him the question? Do you understand my question?
Now, do you see the emphasis Shamsi was placing on his question till the video ended? Shamsi is not interested in any explanation. Now, that shows you how people take power in terms of a dialogue, a discussion. Pay attention clearly. The first authority, according to the sectarians in Islam, is Quran. So you, the one claiming to follow the Quran, you have authority always in a discussion. Don't let that authority slip off. When somebody says, if you don't follow the Quran, how will you know how to do raka'at? First of all, take him back to the Quran. Tell him, show me where God says we should do raka'at, and I will show you the number of raka'at. They cannot show you. It doesn't exist. Always, you the one following the Quran, you have the authority. Don't let that authority slip off from your hand. Because Quran is the book of authority. Even the sectarians agree. Quran is the book of authority. Don't let them use their scholars, the hadiths, the tafasirs to question you. Because those scholars don't have authority. So the moment they are trying to ask you a question with their scholars, just say, show me where God says I should take that authority of that scholar. This is where they will go take you back to the Quran to misquote verses. And when they are misquoting, if you don't know the verse, tell them to give you the verse number. I'm serious. Don't be ashamed if they tell you, oh, you don't know the Quran, you don't know the verse. If they know, why couldn't they show you? If they know better, they should show you the verse. They also know likewise. So if they don't know, the argument ends. You understand? The argument ends. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to be teaching people a routine on how to deal with sectarians, whether your relative, whether a friend, whether your community, whether your sister, your brother. I'll be teaching people how to deal with them. Right? I deal with them. I face them anytime. Number one, keep your emotions in check. Number two, your weapon is rationality, logic, common sense. Don't use emotions. Don't let them look. If they insult you, accept it. If they say you are a fool, just accept it. Don't retaliate at once. Just allow them to say what they want to say. Your aim is to win the argument, not to win the exchange of insult. That's your aim. These people, what they are looking for is your emotional aspect. When they get your emotions, you're done. Do you understand? The emotions is what they are looking for when they are dealing with you. Logically, their arguments are flawed. Always. I'm serious. I'm not joking with you. Like, to be honest, if you want to know babashuaib, I'm a threat to the sectarians. You mention any scholar you know or any person you know who claims he's talking about Islam. Mention babashuaib to him. Tell him you have babashuaib's phone number. Give it to them. Tell them to call. They will never call me. Send all the scholars you know who talks about Quran and Hadith and they say the Quran followers are astray. Tell them babashuaib, the correctional officer. Send them and say babashuaib is calling you for a dialogue. They will never accept it. I'm not joking with you. It's not as if I'm taking pride. I know what God has given me and I know the guidance he has put me on top. Wallahi. God says in Quran chapter 3 verse 160, if God should support you, none can defeat you. I am with God. So I'm not afraid of any sectarian. I'm not scared of them. You can bear witness when I finish my program here, I'll hop on TikTok. I'll give people the chance to join my den. Then you will see how they are scared. When they come, they are shivering, they are shaking. The best they can do is to make noise, to start calling you names. You understand? To insult you. Accept that. Don't retaliate. Just laugh. I'm very good at that. When they go on the rampage and start insulting, I just laugh. I just because at the end of the day, like, how can a sectarians frustrate me? Unless if he's trying to say nonsensical things, I just get tired. Like, I'll just get tired in the head. I'm like, hey, it's okay, go. But when we are having a logical discussion, their arguments are flawed because there is no corner of the Quran they will take me to I cannot go. So when they go, I'm like, let's go. Quote the verse. Let's check. Then they start stammering. That is when I show them my prowess. Because the moment they start stammering, there's a problem. They need the help of their scholars. And babashuaib will never allow you to go to the scholar. We are going to stay to the Quran. You will explain Taya that day. So this is the thing. The more I teach people, God willing, on how to deal with the sectarians, the less they become a threat. Because for now, people see them all over the social media. They have the bigger platforms. They have the bigger following. So people think they are in the right. babashuaib is just here. I've been doing my lectures online for 7 good years. Sectarians are still scared. They are panicking. And tell them I'm coming. So far as God has given me life and health, I'm coming for them. Wallahi lazim. And the more people wake up, especially people in UK, the more you wake up, those bozos you have there, the Shamsi, the Muhammad hijab, the Mushrik lantern, and so on, they are all going to stop doing the social media because that's where they are getting the money. They are going to become laborers by force. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take it and let's make an effort to this, whereby we'll get to know the tactics. There are certain things I cannot say it online because they will be watching my videos. If you are preparing to face the enemy, you don't talk about your secrets in the air. You understand? So I'm arranging the syllable. I'm arranging the curriculum where I'll be teaching people the criteria, the steps to understanding the Quran and how to have a discussion, a dialogue. You don't need to be very knowledgeable. All you need is you need wisdom and intelligence on how to tackle issues. You don't need so much knowledge. I will show you how to get knowledge when you are dealing with a learned person. When you are dealing with a learned person, there are things you look for in a discussion with a learned person. You don't need to know all the information. This is why today we have artificial intelligence. Kindly do yourself a favor, try to subscribe or have a paid version of AI. So when you are talking to, let's say, babashuaib, and then I say something, I say the Quran says zina is haram, right? So let's say you can ask me the verse. Then you can ask me, let's say, what the verse? Then I said, okay, maybe I don't remember. For instance, I can say, I don't remember. You can Google it, or you can use the AI. You can ask the AI. Does the Quran say this in the Quran? You can use that to detect if this person is lying or not, if that thing is saying is there or not. We have advanced forms of AI, artificial intelligence, you can use for that. It's a learning tool you can use, right? For instance, I don't rely 100% on the AI because it is still in the developing stages. It just came about last year or so. So it's still in the developing stages. It has a lot to learn. But we have basic forms of discussions, which when you can Google and get, AI has it already. Things that you can Google and search, AI has it already, right? So the AI can give you up-to-date information. Let's say somebody says, Jesus said, before Abraham, I am, right? Before Abraham, I am. And you don't know the verse. Just write, where did Jesus say, before Abraham, I am? With a blink of an eye, you get the verse from the Bible. Seriously. So when you are talking to somebody and he says, Jesus said this, before Abraham, I am, you don't need to be exceptional at remembering the verse. You can just know. The reason why I remember verse numbers, because we are in the age of technology where AI picks up codes and numbers easily, faster than anything. So instead of asking the AI the question, you would rather put the verse number and write Quran chapter 5, verse 40. Boom. It gives you the full verse. So this is why we are in the coded generation where you deal with codes and numbers. And that is why God intentionally made the Quran in such a way that you can deal with verse numbers and then, chapter numbers and verse numbers, where you can just give the code and then the information is there. Simply, right? So when I'm teaching people to understand the Quran, I teach people to have strength in remembering the verses, the numbers and the subjects. Don't be so exceptional as remembering just every word for word or statement. No, always make it a point to remember the verse number and the subject of discussion pertaining to the verse. So that when you are having a discussion with anybody, you can just remember the subject and then you know the verse number. That's how babashuaib uses that. So when people don't know me physically, I'm more lethal physically than when I'm online, because online sometimes I have to relax and confirm and check something online and then tell you. But when I'm physical and I'm telling people verses and they are opening their phones and checking, they are like seriously, you have all this in your head? I'm like, yes, I have it in my head. Yes, sleepless night. I study all night. I don't sleep in the night. That is the time I have to concentrate. That's the time I have to study and remember things. Do you get my point? So at that time, it's a quiet time. People are sleeping. You have all the time to yourself and between you and God. After all, then you tell God to increase you in knowledge and then bear witness to the magic going to happen. You are going to see all these things come into fruition in your face. You remember everything, like with a blink of an eye. And another point is to have a jotter, where you can be writing down things you want to remember. So you'll be looking at it. When you write the verse number, you write the subject. The subject you write next to the verse number helps you to remember the issue at that verse. So let's say that verse is talking about thieves. The moment you memorize that verse number, when we are talking about thieves, you can mention that verse and you know what it's talking about. So it will help you a lot. Now, these are stages I've passed through, I've been through, I've experienced it. So when I'm having discussions, when I'm talking to people, even if I don't have the Quran next to me, I can have a full discussion without actually having the Quran in my hands, because I have the verse numbers and I know the subjects of discussion. So when I'm talking to a scholar and he's going to lie and he says this is in the Quran, I can tell you straight, bluntly, that it's not. Do you see the point? If we're having a discussion and you say, oh, God says we should follow the Hadith, I'll just laugh and I say, give me a verse, because I know that such a verse doesn't exist. So even if you are going to quote, Ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul wa ulil amr minkum fa in tanazatum fi shay'in faruddu ila Allah wa Rasul, I will tell you to finish the verse and show me where it says Hadith. Then it becomes a problem, because those people cannot prove whatever they say from the Quran unless to interpolate, to twist things around. That's all they do, right? So that is why I'm trying my best to do lectures to teach people to know this kind of weakness of these people, because they are evil.
I'm not saying all of them. Some of them have genuine hearts because they don't know the indoctrination, the propaganda which has been set forth against innocent people in Islam, right? So you would think all these puppets they put in front of you are the scholars or are the people leading you to Jannah. No, they are only interested in the money and the people who put them in the forefront to lead you. That's all they are interested in. You get my point? Ladies and gentlemen, I've done 2 hours on Facebook and YouTube. Adrian Munir, I see you, brother. Thank you all. I think I have to bring the topic to an end here. The idea of today's program was to just clean up the mess of the sectarians, the Mushriks on TikTok. So I played the videos pertaining to videos which were shared to me via TikTok, because there are a lot of things people say and it doesn't make sense at all. But people think that's part of Islam, right? Mansa says, what are you interested in? I don't understand your question. What is your question about? What am I interested in concerning what? Okay, sorry. I think some people ask me questions. I didn't pay attention. Masiu Muslim says what? He said, Babashuaib, that question is for you. An answer will be appreciated. I think I missed the question. Can you repeat? When I saw that video for the first time about the sitting of the Prophet, I was really confused as Brother Shai, because how will this sitting position bring you closer to God? Yeah, exactly. Saddam C says, I have a question. Can I text you private, please? Yeah, you can send me a message if you have my phone number. For those on Facebook and YouTube, that is my correctional officer number on the page. You see it down below. That is my number, my WhatsApp number. You can send me a message. However, usually I have 50 to 100 people sending me messages. Sometimes I have to take my time to answer step by step. So most of the time I send people the links to my videos because I've already done the lectures. So if I happen not to answer your question within a day or two, please forgive me. If I have time after, I'll answer, right? Remember, I'm only doing this for the sake of God. No person have I ever answered a question and I'll tell you, you pay me before I answer. No, I answer everybody when I have time. You understand? What I want is ease. When people have the guidance finally and they know the answers, I'll be resting. I will be rather even watching people doing videos instead of making lectures. You understand? The beginning is always the difficult part, but the ending is always easier. So I do my best to enlighten people, teach people so that they can also learn for themselves, and then they know what I know. Then we are moving along. You see the point? So if you ask me a question or you send me a message and I don't respond the same day, please have patience. I'll attend to you. Because there are a lot of people sending me messages. A lot. Yeah. So somebody says, what does Baba mean in your native language? It means father. Father. That's Baba. That's what it means. Jim Seka says, my question is, how come the father of prophet is named Abdullah, which means servant of God? That is concorded from the sectarian books, right? I don't believe in those stories, right? They will tell you the name of the prophet's father is called Abdullah. These are all lies. I'm serious. When Muhammad was, oh my God. Okay, no problem. In that they worship gods like Lat, Manat, etc. Why was his name Abdullah and not Abdalat? That's a good question. You should ask a sectarians this question, not me. Masih Muslim says, which school does one need to attend to master this hypnosis? You have to ask the sectarians. They have the answers to that. Let me see.
Yeah, salam. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Nara Power. Yes. Okay. I'll get back to you guys. I need to end the program for today. Adrian Munir, I think you sent a message. I didn't get the chance to check through the message. I'll check your message and get back to you, God willing. We keep in touch. This is where I bring the topic to an end on Facebook and YouTube. I'm going to hop onto TikTok, but today I'm not staying long. I might be on TikTok for like 1 hour because I'm getting exhausted a bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I bring the topic to an end on Facebook and YouTube concerning the cleaning up the mess of the Mushriks, right? So take your time to watch. It is 2 hours, 10 minutes. I don't want it to go over so much because it will be difficult to watch everything. Salam to you all. Till we meet again, hopefully next week. If you want to enjoy the show, join me on TikTok. Maybe some sectarians or pagans will be joining, and then we pick it up from then. If you have something important also to ask, kindly join me on TikTok so that I can have the time to answer you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I bring the topic to an end. I call it a day on Facebook and YouTube till we meet again, hopefully next week. God bless you all and thank you all for staying put. Peace out.